you're on the edge of your seat, and that's something I kind of miss.
Now, NTMH, I'm sorry to ask you this question, but right now we have a new landscape of competitive MLBB. This is like, I can't remember the last time we don't see an Indonesian team going to the knockouts or playoffs. So, from your standpoint, because you've been playing for a very long time, how does it feel that Indonesia is not here in the knockout stage for MSC?
First of all, I feel very sad, but I think we will come back stronger in next
M6.
M series, M6 in Malaysia. And I think the reason why Indonesia is not here right now it's because they're not very adaptive in this meta, and they play like best of two, right?
Yeah.
So, and Indonesia is not very good at best of one or best of two.
Oh.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to ask about that because Indonesia, again, a very strong region.
Yeah.
Like you said, very strong best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. So what's the big difference between best of 1 and best of 2 compared to the other format?
I think the stronger team is better playing in best of 3. Best of 5, best of 7, and I think Indonesia. I think they got surprised in the group stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And honestly, like we've seen surprises because of this best of 2 where we're talking about it. It's very brutal. Like Wolf, you were talking about how losing a best of 2 feels like losing 2 full series.
Yeah, especially if it's just like there are 4 teams only in a group, right? And then you get the top 2. It's like if you lose 2-0, it kind of feels like you already lost. It's like you only have one last life. It's like going to the lower bracket, like directly. That you have to win back-to-back matches, like what See You Soon did, for example. Fireflux also did that. So that's really what I feel about like losing a best of 2.
And it was even tougher because if you get the 1-1, you don't get a point.
Exactly.
You just null. So let's say you're -2 and then you go 1-1, you still stay at -2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a very brutal group stage.
Honestly, we got to talk about the Lord Dance as well because we have Anti-Mage. She's been playing the game for a long time, competitively as well. And Wolf, you touch on the Lord Dance. Now, I have some stats here. Looking at the fastest game time is between Liquid Echo going up against Twisted Minds. It was 10 minutes, 50 seconds. At most, it was just 1 Lord spawn. Longest game is KBG going up against Xeno Zenith. It's 26 minutes and 28 seconds. So that's a pretty long game. And I can't remember how many Lords were there at that time. Now, the average game time, at least for wildcards, it's 16 minutes. So at most, we'll see 1 or 2 Lords. So for Anti-Mage, playing the game right now, what do you think about the Lord Dance? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Is it risky or it's still safe to do the Lord Dance?
I think the Lord Dance right now is more hard than before, and I think the hero that have more AOE or burst damage is better. Like for example, in XP right now, Terizla is very strong, and need to be in the first pick, Terizla. So I think the Lord Dance right now is more variative also.
Yeah, honestly, like I have to agree with that because in the MSC, a lot of teams are picking up the Terizla. Even we see Terizla getting banned out in the first phase. So, Antimage, you play in the EXP as well. Personally for you, even in ranked games, what do you think is the top 3 EXP laners right now? Like you said, Terizla. Is there other 2 picks that we have to be careful of?
I think Terizla, Yuzong, and Xbox, because those 3 is very good at war, you know.
Yeah.
And at the Lord Dance, they're very good.
Yeah, and honestly, talking about the Lord Dance as well, in terms of control, Liquid Echo has 90% Lord control. Falcons and Brand 78.5 and SRG 78.2, which I guess they are the favorites in this matchup. But again, over 70% of all 3 teams, that's amazing, Trikes.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show. And a lot of teams, we've seen it with some of the previous teams that either didn't make it this far or fell a little bit short. They have a lot of trouble around that Lord Pit. They have a lot of trouble. Even, I mean, just objectives overall, it's just difficult. And I think one of the reasons why, one of the big changes, one of the reasons why we're seeing so much damage on teams in terms of jungle and gold is because the goal is kind of get the team away from the Lord and then rush it down as fast as possible. You know, you don't want to sit around that Lord too long. You don't want to sit there. You need to try to make sure you're able to either get a couple kills and rush it, or we've seen a couple, tricky plays where they're able to push him back and rush it. I mean, it's about trying to get it in fast.
And also, you want to team fight around the Lord and set the Lord like a trap, right? It's like you poke it and then it gets out a little bit, and then you put it like 50% or maybe even 1/4, like 25% HP, almost near the retry threshold, and then teams are now lured into like team fighting. They want to rush into hitting the Lord, and then you can punish them afterwards. So it's like I mean, teams like Team Liquid, for example, Fnatic Onyx during their dominant games, they use the Lord as a trap.
And honestly, right now, I want to talk about the hero picks as well, because this has been like top pick and ban throughout, but this time only 30% win rate.
Yeah, because I think in this MSC meta, Assassin's been picking up, right? And a hero like Beatrix, he can win against Harit in
the lane.
Yeah, in the lane. So no, not in the lane. I mean, when dealing damage.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I think like this meta is not very good for Harit because a lot of burst damage hero. And a lot of damage hero, I mean like marksman and assassin. So Harit cannot tank the damage. So I think in this meta, Harit is not as good as in the groups before the MSC.
Yeah, honestly, looking at all the team fights, I think he got it right, because we see Hive dying much faster now compared to before. Now, this is also a weird thing, because I agree with Anti-Mage that Yu Zhong is one of the stronger heroes in the EXP lane. So far, only picked 12 times. Other times, it's either banned or ignored, but having 33% win rate. So I gotta ask Anti-Mage, like, going up against a Yu Zhong, is there a strategy where when you're fighting against a Yu Zhong, like how do you do in lane, or how do you do in the Lord fight, in team fights? Yeah,
in team fight is usually you just bait the
Black Dragon form.
Yeah, the ult is very simple. I think from before, way before, when you fight against Yu Zhong, you can just bait his ulti like that.
And then kite him.
You kiting until the Yu Zhong ultimate is done, then you can go in team fight.
Okay.
It's always been like that.
Yeah, I feel
simple for him.
It's very
simple.
And the thing is, it's true. Like we've seen, like honestly, even Sanford. I think Sanford knows that people want to bait his Black Dragon form, so he just use it anyways. Just secure the turtle, secure the Lord, and then that's it. Because everyone knows when the Black Dragon form is up, you don't fight against it. Are you guys curious about the third pick? Because I'm actually very surprised this hero picked 14 times, but only 35% win rate.
Ooh, is this Roger?
Actually, no, it's not Roger.
Oh.
It's the Vexana.
Oh, okay.
I did not thought Vexana had that kind of win rate. I thought Vexana had like 50% kind of win rate. So what do you think about Vexana, Anti-Mage?
I think Vexana is also strong before, but this meta, I think Farsia is better, because Grok and Cho is buff, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of roamer is using Cho right now also. So I think Cho and Vexana is not a good combo also.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
What do you guys think about the top 3 underperforming heroes?
Yeah.
Harith, Yu Zhong, as well as Vexana.
Harith, I think the reason why it is not performing as well, because some teams, will just first pick it and they don't have a plan for it, and then they get countered. I think if you look at some of the players that use it, like if you're looking at Marco and Innocent, you're gonna think, okay, this hero is very, very strong. But then if it's played by other teams, because they're not that prepared for it, they kind of struggle, even if they first pick a Harith. I'm surprised about the Vexana, but at the same time, because there's a lot of assassins now, Vexana is not the easiest one to utilize actually during in that regard,
And the Farza with the wings by wings, you have more escapability. And I think a lot of these mages, even the Lu Yi, we saw Fireflux able to counter. We've seen a few teams actually give it up. I think some of the more immobile mages are starting that were very powerful before are having a little bit of difficulty because of the things like the Lings, the Rogers, the people who can close the distance. We saw the Roger last game just dance around all of Vexana's skills. I think with the Yu Zhong as well, though, and the Harith, there's a pretty big deficit between some of the S-tier teams, some of the top 4, we could say, and the rest of the bunch, right? The rest of the rascals, man. And I think we just saw it. We saw from AP Bremen, they can throw together some compositions and make it work, man. We've seen it, I feel like, all the way since group stage. We've seen some of those top teams, man.
Yeah.
They don't need a Herrick, man. They don't need a Roger all the time. They don't need a Lu Yi. They're able to just pull through and, you know. So I think as we get to these final four, I think we'll see the Yuzong start to do better. I think we'll see the Herrick start to do a bit better.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. Now, Antimation, looking at MSC, I think we have to ask this for everyone, right? Out of all the teams performing, which team got your eye as well as which player? Because the teams, sure, TLPH as well as Falcons AP Brand is looking pretty strong, but very interesting to see what you think about the players. Which player do you think is going to be the star player of MSC?
For me, TLPH and Brand is a strong contender, and most likely they will win. But I think SRG have a chance, you know, to be able to compete with those two Philippine teams. And I think I got my eyes on Sekis. Because, yeah, Sekis, because in SRG, he's playing Assassin and his mechanic is very good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like seeing Kyrie back in M3 and M4 for me.
No, honestly, the thing is, I agree. Sakai's absolutely amazing player, but we have a clip of Carl Teasy playing around the Lord, and this is going to be one of his opponents, so let's check the clip out. And honestly, this is one of those cases where I feel like looking at the Philippine teams, the way they control the Lord is honestly very, very crazy. And something about Carl, man, he always secures the Lord. I don't know how he does it.
This game hurt watching. He stole so many objectives from Dax. Dax just felt like he could not do a single thing in this game. Even here, they have kind of control over the pit, and Carl Teasy's able to come in.
Yeah. The previous clip, Carl Teasy actually didn't have the ultimate, so that's even more amazing that he was able to land that. And now, I think he's gonna be able to.
He will.
Oh, he will.
Look at the alternative TLPH. They're not showing the map. Like JP's not showing. Sanji only is the one showing. Then he timed it perfectly with that knock up, and then he's gonna heavy spin again. It's just beautiful Mobile Legends, man.
Honestly, I have to ask Anti-Mage. Like, usually when we see the opponent stealing the Lord, we will always blame our jungler, but as a professional player, is there anyone else that you should blame when the opponent is able to steal the Lord?
I think it's not about blaming the team. I think it's about how we face the Lord Dance. Because in the Lord Dance, the jungle have the retry, right?
Yeah.
But the offlaner needs to be able to like zoning the enemy.
Yeah.
The roamer needs to be able to secure the bushes.
Yeah.
So I think it's everyone. You cannot blame the jungle because he missed the retry.
Yeah.
I do.
No, I totally agree, because looking at that clip, it looks like they were all taking care of the bush.
Yeah.
They tried to zone away, but unfortunately the zoning was unsuccessful.
They have the Kaja ultimate there, which they could have immediately utilized, because you can see Akai was just showing himself.
Yeah.
There, so that they could have the damage. They have the mine advantage anyways. So yeah, I do agree with the ultimate. I think it was the overall team effort that needs to be blamed here, and not just Dax.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're telling me I can't be in the YouTube chat blaming the jungler?
Nah.
I'm not allowed to. Really?
Honestly, for me,
Unfortunately,
I'm
no.
the kind of guy that if, for example, the jungle missed the retry, I would blame either the roam or the EXP
Or the other team.
or their team, because like for example, like I know teams like Homeboys, they have this set role, right? It's either Zorn chasing away the jungler, or it's going to be Sapat chasing away the jungler. Speaking of which, that's where I want to transition our talk for this one, because after this, it's going to be NIP Flash going up against Homeboys. Before we even talk about this matchup, I want to ask Anti-Mage, what's your opinion seeing now Singapore with this all-star team? Like, we haven't seen Singapore performing this well for a very long time. The same as Malaysia. It's been such a long time since we've seen two Malaysian teams go to the knockout or playoff stage. So what do you think about these two regions?
First of all, I think Singapore going into the playoff and strong like this, I think is very surprising for me, because I think Malaysia and Singapore before is very competitive in MLBB, right? And their standard is almost the same. But throughout the years, I think Malaysia is going up more than the Singapore. But today I see Singapore play very good MLBB.
Yeah. Now, looking at this matchup, Homeboys going up against NIP Flash, who do you think that we have to look out for? Because I was able to have an interview with Zorn, and Zorn said NIP Flash won't be able to stop him from invading the jungle.
Yeah, I think for NIP, I think the star is, we all know it is Diablo, right? Because his hero is very unpredictable.
Yeah.
He's playing Min Sitar, Benedetta damage, Papito damage, and his playstyle is like I kill you and I die. It's okay. It's like the marksman die and I die. You know?
Yeah.
He's
If I die, you
that kind
die
of
with me.
that kind of playstyle. But I think Homeboys and NIP, I think I'll favor Homeboys. Still.
You favor Homeboys, but while we're on that, I actually have to ask, like, what's your opinion between two styles of EXP where we see a lot of like tanky EXPs, but what do you think about damage dealer EXP players?
Damage, it depends on the jungle, I think. If you play like Paquito and Benedetta, you cannot pick that hero with assassin, you know, because it cannot two assassin in one team is very bad for me.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Wolf?
No, I definitely agree. I think it has been known that during pre-M5, this was MPL season 12. Pre-M5, Fnatic, Onyx, then Onyx Esports, they are utilizing Ling if they have like Barats in the XP.
Yeah.
But not even Barats, Uranus, for example. They will pick up Nolan, they will pick up Hayabusa, for example, or Ling and Fanny if Boots will play sustain heroes, right? But then if you want to go for damagers, you want to go for utility junglers now, so that you have a frontliner for a team, especially during that time where the Lord Dance was very important. You have to somebody has to attack the Lord. Now most especially, you cannot have squishy heroes only because it will be very bad for your Lord Dance. So if you want to go damage dealing EXP, you have to look for utility junglers, something like that.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
agree,
even at
totally
the
agree.
end of, even at the end of M5, we were seeing like full damage Khaleeds. We were seeing like big damage EXP laners, and now we're seeing Terizla first item
Queen's
Wings. You know, I mean, it's definitely a big
Yeah.
change up, and the teams who have adapted the best are the ones who are still around here. I'm excited to see how NIP Flash pulls through.
Yeah.
Very simple question for NT-Mage as well, because going up against NIP Flash is a very unique situation where the EXP laner is able to use damage dealers and can carry the game. So for Homeboys, do you think they just play like they normally play, or do they have to change their play style to match against NIP Flash?
I think they need to play usually their play style, because I like Homeboy's play style.
Oh, okay.
Usually when Zorn is going into the enemy jungle and Udil is winning his lane, so like their mid lane is winning like a lot. And I think this job to lock Diablo is Sepat job, you know. So I think they don't need to change their play style.
With that being said, I feel like one of the last questions I do have to ask, because you know Udil very, very well. Can you give us an insight of how Udil is in person?
Udil, his leadership I think is very good, and he's very technical and detailed. But I think he need to keep his emotions in check, you know, because this is best of 5, and he cannot be spicy before he win. You know,
Win first before it becomes spicy.
yes.
All right.
Actually, that's very interesting. I didn't know that Udil can be even spicy to his own team, but still, just to confirm, you feel like Homeboys can win against NIP Flash?
I think, big chance Homeboys will win.
What's the score? 3-0, 3-1, 3-2?
Let me think. I think 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Honestly, that's a very commendable score. Again, thank you very much, NT-Mage. But the thing is, I believe we didn't see this before. We have the key crushing video.
Ooh.
And NT-Mage, what do you think about this whole EWC style about when you lose, you give your key to the opponent and the opponent will crush your key? Like, how do you feel about that?
Sorry, what's the question? Can you?
So we're actually gonna look at the clip here right now. So the teams. Let's just say Homeboys going up against NIP Flash. If NIP Flash lose,
Yes.
they have to give their key, that looks like a trophy by the way.
Yeah.
They have to give their key to Homeboys.
Oh.
And then Homeboys will take that key,
Just
put it under a hydraulic press, and then just crush it. In fact, if we have the clip, we'll be showing it over, which looking at this clip is not that painful. The painful one is Fnatic Onyx.
Next to Few from Falcons AP Bryn, the keys have just been surrendered from See You Soon, now in his hands. Are you ready to crush the key?
Yes, I'm ready to crush this key.
All right, how does it feel standing right next to the key machine?
It felt really great because we trained so hard for them and now we beat them 3-0.
All right, I think it's about time. Let's go ahead and crush the keys to see you soon.
Question two. Next question.
Okay.
All right, Few, the key has been crushed. How does it feel?
It felt great because just like what we did to them.
Any message out there to see you soon?
Thank you for the great match. See you soon. But I hope we meet again on other tournaments.
All right, and do you have any matches coming up here soon that you're looking forward to facing?
We're looking forward to face Liquid Echo. We're match up against them in semis and we will have our revenge.
Ooh, spicy. Well, I look forward to it. Key crusher for MSC 2024. Tensions are rising. Who will be next?
And there you go. That's See You Soon's key crushing. But with that being said, NTMH, I want to say thank you very much. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans, especially the Indonesian fans watching?
For Indonesian fans, don't be sad because we will back at the next M Series and we will be the champion.
There you go. Indonesia will come back and they will be champions. So thank you very much again, NTMH, as well as to our analysts. But for now, we're going for a short break before we're starting the next series, which is going to be Homeboys going up against NIP Flash. We'll see you guys then.
We are here next to Few from Falcons AP Bryn. The keys have just been surrendered from See You Soon, now in his hands. Are you ready to crush the key?
Yes, I'm ready to crush this key.
3, 2, 1, go. Three, two, one, go.
Hello, I'm Diablo from Team NIP Flash. I'm the EXP laner and also the captain of the team. As the Singapore All-Star team is definitely within expectations to secure top 8 because as you say, it's an All-Star team, so if you can't even get top 8 with All-Star, then Singapore really is quite hopeless, I would say. So it's within our expectations, but the games are just like what I expected. I expected the enemy to be on this caliber, and they did put up a fight, and they just within my grasp, I would say, yeah. Technically, we'll be facing Homeboys. From what I see from their performance, they are looking quite solid this season, but we too are looking solid as well. So we'll see who is the better brawler, I would say, because I think Homeboys like to fight, so we also like to fight. Technically, I've been taunted by my own Singaporean friends before, so it doesn't really matter if Homeboys taunt me. We'll just use our skills to prove that whoever lasts the longest is the true winner. Back to MPL, SG, and MY, where both of us are always fighting with each other for the top spot. Technically, I haven't played before in MPL, SG, MY, so I'll just treat it as MPL, SG, MY, and I would say it's a 50-50. Sometimes Malaysia win, sometimes Singapore win, but this time around I'm quite confident to come out on top. Technically, at the group stage, we are also regarded as one of the weakest, but here we are. And then we'll just show them again. Would you? Nothing much. I mean, I have no hate towards him or what, but to the Indonesian fans, I will say sorry in advance if I send your last member back home.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Mid-Season Cup 2024 at the Esports World Cup with Milfel as well as Trex as well as Wolf. And honestly, the video just now, we have a lot to unpack there because Diablo was saying they fully expected to get top 8 because this is the all-star lineup. And they're one match away from top 8 to potentially being top 4. And talking about Homeboys as well, they said that they're not afraid of what Homeboys has to bring because Homeboys likes to brawl. Well, they like to brawl as well, so they're gonna see who is the better brawler.
Yeah, I think this might also be the series where it's almost difficult to kind of predict what the heroes will be, especially because
For sure.
of how